Hey there, and welcome to today's edition of 10 TV Plus. I'm Dylan Robichaud alongside Jay Plyburn.
Always a pleasure to be here, Dylan.
Always a pleasure to be here. What's not a pleasure is that cold air that just kind of hits you in the face.
It's absolutely terrible.
And it's not going anywhere anytime soon, at least not this week.
Oh, come on. We've already had a couple of days of it. I think that's enough.
I'm thinking by the weekend, we're back up to the 40s.
Yay,
which will feel
40s.
like a heat wave. That'll feel like a heat wave after everything that we've kind of gone through the last few days.
Just be prepared as you head out the door.
Yeah. So let's hop right into it. We got quite a bit to get to here. Generally speaking, the memo is that it's going to be downright frigid out there today. Wind chills below zero. The wind isn't quite as bad. So I'm thinking as we head into the afternoon, wind chills maybe in the single digits, which could be an improvement from yesterday. And then tracking the possibility of a little bit of snowfall moving into the region as we head into Thursday. More on that coming up in just a bit. This afternoon, though, check it on out. Wind chills, by midnight, again, we're already getting down close to zero, but even during what is typically the warmest hours of the day, which is about right now, we're going to be looking at daytime highs, daytime maximum wind chills around 6 to 7 degrees, give or take. Now, where do we go from here? Heading into Wednesday, 12 degrees, 14 degrees here on Thursday. Friday, when you wake up, 16 degrees. So the worst was today, and then we start gradually improving. Tomorrow is a little bit warmer. Thursday, you get a little bit warmer, and then you step it back up again heading into the day on Friday. As we look at the weekend and beyond, though, the biggest contrast will happen sometime around Monday going into Tuesday as we drastically warm up from the 20s close to freezing, and these are nighttime lows, so daytime highs start kind of teeter-tottering back close to 40 as we head into next week, which we'll talk more about the 7-day coming up in a bit. Heading out the door, though, this afternoon, we are looking at the clouds beginning to increase across the region. Your sun came up at 7:20 this morning. Sunset, take a look at that milestone now, 6:11 p.m. And now we're looking at a whopping 10 hours and 51 minutes of daylight here. By the way, we're gaining about 2.5 minutes every single day. And with springtime about a month away, we're going to be looking at the days getting much longer. For the month of February, just looking at the mid-latitudes, we're gaining about 60 minutes of daylight. The further to the north that you go, the more daylight you gain. So as you head up closer to the Arctic Circle, I mean, they're gaining close to 90 minutes here. Once you get up towards southern Canada, Montreal, they're gaining about 70 minutes for the month of February. All right, so we do have a storm that's passing off down to our south. There was chitter-chatter about the possibility of a large snowstorm here for Ohio on Wednesday. That is no longer the case, okay? Models are very confident that that storm is going to track down to Kentucky. So they're getting a major storm down there. Here at home, though, we are tracking the possibility of snow Wednesday night coming into Thursday morning from a totally different disturbance. So about 10 o'clock here on Wednesday night, West Ohio from Dayton up to Fort Wayne, Indiana, we'll be looking at just a little bit of snowfall. And then we'll continue to be tracking that threat heading into Thursday at 2 o'clock in the morning. And this, too, could be just long enough in duration that we could be looking at a quick ½ inch to an inch, possibly, depending on where you live. By 6 o'clock in the morning, we're already wrapping this puppy up. And then as we head towards the afternoon, take a look at this here. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a few more snow showers coming in from the north. And what is this? Lake effect snow. Take a look at that trajectory right off of Lake Michigan. The wind blows over that relatively warm water, and we get that string of lake effect snow coming all the way down towards central Ohio by Thursday afternoon. I mean, we're hundreds of miles away, but if you get a strong enough wind and you have a big enough temperature difference from the air to the lake, it can happen. We've had lake effect snow here as far south as Columbus from Lake Michigan. So that could drop another ½ inch going into the day on Thursday. So let's walk you through Wednesday night to give you a better idea of what you can expect. And as we head towards 12 o'clock in the morning, again, light snow showers, Marion out towards Dayton, down towards the south, looking at some light snow. That's going to start gradually marching on in. And as we head towards 4 a.m. on your Thursday, tracking that light snow continuing. Then as we head towards 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, things begin to split on up, and it won't be as bad heading into Thursday afternoon. How much can you expect when all is said and done? Quick ½ inch to an inch. Southern Ohio might see a bit more, down towards Pike County, Jackson, MacArthur, even Ross County closing in on that 1-inch mark. But as you head north and east of town, looking at lower amounts, the majority of this will fall by daybreak on Thursday. So just be prepared for that. So far for the month of February, we actually have a small snowfall deficit. Not a whole lot, but by 1.6 inches. All of this, by the way, came on Sunday when we had that blizzard out there. But average is 4.6 inches, and so we are slightly behind the 8 ball. Don't like the snow? I've got you. Spring begins in just 30 days. March 20th. It's coming up, folks, before you know it. Although just because you hit spring doesn't magically mean that things are blossoming and the temperatures are warmer. It'll take several time for things to really be that much different. All right, so as we're heading out towards the next 6 to 10 days, generally speaking, temperatures are near normal. We're not tracking any more of these Arctic blasts of cold air anytime soon. And as we look at rainfall outlook, precipitation, generally speaking, the consensus is below average as we head off down towards the Midwest and out towards the Great Plains and the Deep South. Temperatures, though, are very cold this week. And if you don't like the cold, here's the good news, though. Generally speaking, as we head out towards the next 6 to 10 days, we start kind of warming things up. So by February 23rd, which is less than a week out, we start kind of warming things up to near normal. And once we get there, we stay there. This is a look here at February 26th as we go into next week and heading beyond that. I mean, we're just not looking at any more blasts of cold air anytime soon. So that's good if you don't exactly like the bone-chilling cold that we've been contending with. 7-day forecast. I just quickly want to give you a glance at Thursday. Again, just to reiterate, from about midnight until 8 a.m. on Thursday morning, quick dusting to 1 inch, wipe it on off. Should be that light powdery snow. And then as we head towards Saturday, if you are heading off to lower.com field, we have the home opener for the Columbus Crew. Dress warm, okay? Notice that for the stadium, sometimes you can get that wind that kind of cuts on through. And so for that 6:30 kickoff, it is cold out there. We are below freezing. Wind chills will be well into the teens, so make sure to dress warm for that. And then as we head towards Monday, we are back to the 40s. Here's your jet stream way up here. We got that warm conveyor belt, that warm air that we're tapping into as we get back to the 40s heading into the start of next week. So that should be nice as we're going to start feeling temperatures a little bit warmer for this time of year. So
40s coming by the start of next week. Springtime, 30 days away.
Springtime indeed.
This guy's excited.
I am excited for that. I do like the snow. I do like wintertime, but sometimes it's nice to kind of mix it up a bit.
I can embrace the snow. It's the extreme cold that gets kind of old.
All right, are you ready to switch gears?
Let's do it.
All
Trivia
right.
time?
Not yet. I have video for you of Mount Etna.
Oh, I love this. I saw
Look at
this
this right
morning.
here. Fire and ice. You have the volcano erupting right there. You got the lava flow, and then you got the snow. Again, Mount Etna is south of Italy. It's actually Sicily. So this is actually out towards the Mediterranean Sea.
Wow.
And again, you have a string of volcanoes here. Some folks actually hiked up Mount Etna and skied down it here while this was actually happening. And that's just incredible to get that kind of video out there. Man, that is just so impressive.
Really beautiful shots there to show the contrast between the frozen and the molten rock there. Really wild.
Yeah. So a lot of folks were going out there. Again, 11,000 feet. So, I mean, that's up pretty high. You can see folks right there skiing.
Ooh, they seem close.
That video does not, and this was taken at nighttime too. Take a look at the glow. It lights up the night sky. Wow. I'm a volcano guy. This stuff always impresses me.
Yeah, well, it just makes for some really neat shots. I've been a fan of lava flows since I was a kid myself.
Exactly.
You played the floor is lava.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was in Sicily. Today's weather trivia question actually has to do with volcanoes in the U.S. Out along the West Coast, we have a string of volcanoes. So let's get a look here at today's weather trivia question. All right. So what was the most recent major volcano eruption in the U.S.? All right. And this is the lower 48. So think west coast of the U.S.
Okay.
Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, Mount Washington, or Mount Jefferson?
Well, in Hawaii, just a week or two ago, there was an eruption, but you're talking continental U.S.
Yeah,
here.
lower 48.
Oh, man. This is going to be just a shot in the dark here. I'm going to go with B, Mount St. Helens.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes!
So this happened back on May 18th, 1980.
That's it's been a while.
We're talking a massive eruption. I mean, like, this made headlines here. And this was there's been other small miniature eruptions, but like this was the last major eruption in the U.S. that made headlines. And so these all happen along what we call the Pacific Ring of Fire. And so if you look here, first of all, most volcanoes and earthquakes happen along plate tectonics. And so plate tectonics are where the crust of the earth kind of move. Think about a train, if you will. Like, a train isn't straight like this. Trains are actually broken up into different compartments. Same thing with the Earth's crust, and that allows the crust to move around quite a bit. So there's the West Coast. That's the Ring of Fire along the West coast of the U.S. And we just talked about Mount Etna in Sicily. That would be right along that plate right there. And you can see that Ring of Fire. All of these circles that you see, these are earthquakes that happen. So earthquakes and volcanoes typically occur where these plate tectonics occur with the land colliding with the sea. So take a look at this right here. This is also kind of interesting. A lot of volcanoes actually do occur along Italy. I actually hiked up Mount Vesuvius back in 2012. And so that one is pretty interesting as well. But the west coast of the U.S., especially out in Oregon and Washington, a lot of these volcanoes are just a ticking time bomb. I mean, something like Mount St. Helens, it's not a matter of if it will happen, it's a matter of when it will happen.
And how far you can be from it when it does happen.
And you can't really predict when an eruption is going to happen. There are signs, like you can get little miniature earthquakes because magma builds up, and that can create these tremors within the crust of the earth. But there's no way, it's not like a weather forecast. You can't just predict it.
Right.
You can do what we call analog forecasting, which is like, hey, Mount St. Helens has erupted every 500 years over the past 10,000 years. So you can predict, like, with high certainty when it could happen again.
It'll happen in this window.
Exactly.
Per se, yeah.
But that's about as close as you can get. So
scary stuff. Love that video of the lava flows. That was super cool.
Excellent. On that note, that does it for us here on 10 TV Plus. Jerry Martz is back here for 10 TV News starting right at 6 p.m.